Okay, here we go. Last FA meeting of the year. Thank you everyone for attending. I see lots of familiar faces and I'm so grateful you're here. We just have a handful of things to go over, as we were saying right before. The end of the year is right around the corner. I cannot believe it. And Desi, you put it in days, and I did not like that. That was alarming. I like to think of it as next month but anyway, thank you for being here. I'm going to do quick. I think we all know each other, but let's do a quick hello. I know Kelly Rothrock, our vice president, cannot be here. I believe that's what she told us, right? I was on vacation out of the country, so that'll be my excuse today. I have one every meeting for being a little loopy, but that will be my excuse tonight, is that I'm getting back in the swing of things, remembering everybody's schedule. But I think Kelly Rothrock can't be here, our vice president. But let's go around our executive committee and just make announcement or introductions of your name, your title, so everyone can remember. I'm Jody. I'm president, along with
I'm also president.
my partner.
And over to you, Margaret.
I'm Margaret. I'm the treasurer. Jody, do you also maybe want to mention like what people will be doing coming up next year, or are we?
Yeah, I can definitely. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, because I mean, we should go back to Kelly.
Yes, that's a very good point.
I'm Kelly. I'll be president next year.
Whoa, shocker. But,
and me too. I will maintain my position as treasurer next year. Looking forward to that.
I'm Jill. I am secretary, and I will be secretary next year.
Great. And then we have Josie, you're here. Do you want to say hi? You're okay?
Hi, I'm Josie. I'm going to be the VP next year.
Yes. Hooray. And then we also have Tanis, who couldn't be here tonight, I don't think, and she's going to be our volunteer coordinator. And then Christina's on. We all said hi to Christina. She's our homecoming chairperson next year. So good representation here of some of the leadership team next year. Did I miss anybody else? No. Okay. Well, you're all leaders because you're here. So let's just be honest. All right. Let's go to our business. We need to approve the March meeting minutes. There was a link in the email and on the agenda. So I will open it up. Did anybody have any questions, concerns, edits, changes, red flags, happy thoughts? No. Okay, so if I could have a motion and a second to approve those minutes, please.
I'll move to approve.
Thank you, Margaret. Anybody else?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor for approving the minutes, please give me a wave, thumbs up. I love it. Thank you. Great. Opposed? I see nothing. Thank you. So approved. And we'll move it over to Margaret for our treasurer's report.
This will be very brief because actually since the last time we met, we have not had any events happening. So there's really no change in where we stand. And really we're in great shape coming into our final events, our big spring event and some staff appreciation things like that. And we are really on track to end the year exactly where we are hoping to. So everything looks good from the treasury end. And that's about all I can really add at this moment.
Thank you for that. And if you know anybody out there who's got receipts pending.
Yes, thank you for remembering that.
Yeah,
please turn in receipts. Anybody who has outstanding receipts, we really need to get those processed before the end of the school year, which is coming rapidly. I think we have most, but if there's one or two outstanding, please let me know. You can always reach out and email me directly or leave them in the folder in the mailroom in Zuskin Hall. We have a box with a folder with instructions, but if you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you. And that leads us right into our spring teacher appreciation. One thing that the FA likes to do on behalf of all of the parents is to do a big effort. We did it at the holiday time, winter break time, and we like to do it in spring also. we, on behalf of all the parents, like to appreciate all the staff and faculty. And so we use a portion of our funds to do that. And we will be doing it again in the spring. In the winter, we did Stock the Lounge during final exams, you may remember, and parents dropped off lots of goodies. And the teachers, the feedback we got is they absolutely love it. It's a busy time, not just for our students, but also for the teachers, and they love being able to go in and get some goodies. So Jill and Margaret are our chairpersons for all of our appreciation and loving this year. And so they're going to do the Stock the Lounge again. This year, typically in the spring, our pattern has been not to have the parents help out. We take care of it for you because everyone is, like you said, Desi, kind of in the end of the year, especially seniors, mad rush of giving. And so we're going to use the funds that we have to stock the lounge for the teachers. But do know that is on behalf of all of you and all the parents, because we know that you all want to love on the teachers as much as we do. And so we want to take a little bit of that off your hands. So we will probably send pictures of what we do. I know Margaret and Jill have some ideas of what they're going to stock the lounge with. So we will send pictures of what we do, and thank you for your support in that. Okay, so let's talk about what's happening at TGS right now. Exciting, Shrek the Musical is coming up on the 18th and 19th. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, please do. You can do it online, and it's at 7 p.m. And yeah, and I think the FA too, just for your knowledge, the FA, Kelly, we were talking about today, is we're helping with the kids right before the performance, they stay on campus. And so we are going to help the teachers out and the parents out by helping those kids get some dinner in between that time. A big deal is on the April 18th, which is next Thursday. This is our time. The Family Association takes this opportunity to thank all of the parents who have volunteered throughout the year. It's a casual breakfast and coffee. Everybody can attend. It's a nice time for parents to come on their way before they head off to work. Just grab coffee, pastries. We like to give a little thank you to our volunteers. We especially invite our volunteers and hope they can come, those who helped with any of the events, our class reps, our chair people, anyone who's helped out throughout the year that we've had on our Sign Up Genius, or maybe the faculty has told us, we invite them. And so we invite all of you to come and join us. It's at 8:30 on the front lawn. And come grab some snacks. And we have an extra special something for a certain head of the school. So if you'd like to come see that as well, you could certainly come, but we won't talk about that right now. Check your email. Okay, next is we have our Spring Family Showcase on May 9th. And this is like our end of the year family get together and student showcase. It's amazing. It's a dinner, so it's at 5 p.m. on May 9th. We hope you can come. Sage is going to provide an amazing casual dinner. It's going to be a really good menu. I mean, Noelle's got some talent there, but come join us for dinner. There's going to be the dance showcases at 6. So the dinner is right before, so people can come enjoy dinner and then go straight to the dance performance. But there's also an art showcase. You get to listen to the orchestra and band playing while you're eating. You can walk around, look at these things. And I will tell you that the Young Writers Club reached out to us last semester. They were on it, and it's a new club. So we got to meet with them. It's a new club this year, and they reached out to us, the FA, to say, we really want families to stop by our booth. These are young writers who have actually written their own novels. They will have copies of their novels available for perusal. And they're really hoping that if you have kids, students at TGS who are aspiring writers, that you will maybe walk them by the booth and see how exciting the club is and see what kind of novels they've written. It was really great to be invited to one of their meetings. So I encourage all of you that are going to attend to take a look at those booths from the Young Writers Club as well. Dr. Cheryl, do you want to say anything about the Spring Family, the annual that I missed? It's such a great event. You want to say?
No, it's a wonderful event. It tends to be a little more middle school focused. Although of course we have upper school dancers and upper school musicians that will be performing. And just one thing that the night before, actually on May 8th, Angela just told me that was the only night they could schedule the upper school athletic banquet. So it's a busy, busy week. But so May 8th is going to be the athletic banquet, May 9th. And I know looking here, we've got some parents of student athletes. So,
Oh
and
gosh, yeah.
the athletic banquet is also fun just to recognize, especially the graduating seniors, you know, that have contributed so much in that regard to the school.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. What time is did you say what time the banquet?
I'm guessing, oh, let me look and see if it's on the school calendar. I do not want to guess.
Is that just for students or is that for their parents as
Oh, no,
well?
it's for their parents too, Desi. Parents are very much welcome.
Perfect, thanks.
Actually, it's starting early. On the school calendar, it says 5 p.m. athletic banquet.
Great. No, that's great information. Wow, lots of
I
ceremonies.
know, busy week.
Yeah,
It's just busy next 5 weeks for all of us, right? So
so true.
Can I just say one thing about the spring dinner? Or two things. One, for those of you who don't realize, this is what was the Spring Fiesta last year. So it's the event formerly known as the Spring Fiesta. We just kind of renamed it to make it a little bit more accurate for what it is going to be. And the other thing is, as you guys are talking to other people, if you are talking about the spring dinner, if you would be so kind as to remind folks to RSVP. Something we always struggle with is making sure we have enough food, and we have to have accurate numbers to give to Noel. So if you guys are talking to anybody else and you start talking about the upcoming events, if you would just remind people to RSVP when they get that invite, which they will be getting very soon. You
Yeah.
all will.
This week, right, Kelly? Yeah. Yeah, so look out for that invitation. I know a lot of emails are flying too, but I would just put a plug in to read them all. I know I'm guilty of it too, that something will pass and I'll say, oh, I'll read that later, but there's dates on everything. So don't forget, read the email of everything that's happening. And we were just talking about this, but we wanted to talk about all that the Gregory School does for commencement on May 21st and 22nd. So you're aware. Kelly, you told me that, see, and my kids started freshman year, so I am so unaware of all the amazing and cool things that happen in middle school, but Kelly was telling me that there's a 5th grade promotion. So that's great. There's a 5th grade promotion, May 21st at 5 p.m. And then there's a middle school promotion the next day, the day of the high school commencement, the upper school commencement, but the middle school promotion is at 10 a.m. And then the big one, my kiddo is graduating that evening on the 22nd at 6:30 p.m. So make sure those are on your calendar. And I was talking to Dr. Cheryl about how anybody can go to the commencement, which is great. I didn't know that either. So see, it's my last year here, but I'm still learning new things about the school. So if you would like to see what's happening, it's a great ceremony from what I've heard from previous parents who've gone through it. Speaking of graduation, Desi, we have on here that we're still in need for grad night volunteers. This is, for those of you who are not aware, the graduates right after the ceremony are whisked away to a night of fun, an all-nighter of fun. And we need chaperones for that. But the grad committee is so kindly aware that seniors do not want their parents there. So it's kind of a pay it forward volunteering that you volunteer and you chaperone for these kids in these god awful hours that none of us want to be awake for, but we do it because we love our Gregory School kids And you know that the parents following you are going to do it for you when your kid gets to 12th grade. So you're still in need of shifts, correct, Desi? From I have 12 to 3 and 3 to 6 are the big ones that we need, right?
Yeah, we're looking for, I think, 3 people still. There is staff at the place, the one place that we're going to, there is staff, but we do want to have some kind of chaperoning, and it's actually not really that bad. Last year I did 12 to 6 and it was fun.
Yeah.
It's actually really beautiful. It's fun. It's wonderful to see everyone. So it sounds like it's terrible. Oh, who wants to stay up the whole night? It actually really isn't such a big deal.
That's a good perspective. You know, I have a friend who did it too, and she just raves about how fun it is to
Great.
watch.
It's so fun. It was so great to be there. It's great.
Yeah, so please sign up if anyone can. My team, if you could find the sign up genius and put it in the chat, that would be great. But so we are flying through the agenda. We are here already at TGS updates. Dr. Cheryl, are you ready?
I will unmute myself. So the big news is that tomorrow morning in your email inbox, you will see an announcement from Claudine Messing, our board president, about the interim head of school that has been hired by the Board of Trustees. So I always feel like those who make an effort to come to this meeting deserve to have a little heads up before everyone else. And so we are delighted to have secured the employment of a woman by the name of Amy Seeger, who has over 40 years of experience, but honest to God, she was on campus. I think she looks younger than I do. So, and I don't have 42 years of experience in independent schools. She is currently at St. Stephen's School in Houston. She has been a head of school, an associate head of school. We just truly fell in love with her when she came to visit campus. So she's retiring from her position at Houston. But during her time there, she had the good fortune of working with someone who is somewhat of a legend in the independent school world in the Southwest. He came in and served as an interim head of school at St. Stephen's. And so she started to ask him about, what is this interim head of school type position? And he explained that it can be really quite joyful. You go in and you help a school that's in the middle of a transition. The other thing that is just absolutely serendipitous for us is that Amy has extensive experience in accreditation visits, and the school is preparing for our 10-year accreditation visit. Next year, the school will be undergoing what we call a self-study. So you will be surveyed about your experience as a customer at the school and your child's experience. There's an entire series of documents that need to be assembled, to prepare for the visiting team. And then the visiting team will actually arrive on campus in October of 2025. And again, that is ideal for a new head of school starting their leadership tenure at the school, because the accreditation process gives them a thorough review, right? And vetting of what is going well, what are some areas that we can continue to strengthen. It even provides the new head of school with a little bit of leverage. It certainly provided me with some leverage, in my first year, in terms of having them support me in some of the things that I would, like to do. So all good news on that front, and you will be receiving the email tomorrow morning. It's going out to all of the parents. In that message, Claudine is also explaining that the board has secured a wonderful search committee. They're called DRG Associates. They're based out of New York City. They work predominantly with nonprofits, and they have a division that works with independent schools. And one of my colleagues, who is the retired head of school from Albuquerque Academy, now works for DRG and Associates. And his name is Andy Watson, and he is going to be heading up our professional search process, seeking, talent for the next permanent head of school. he is actually going to be on campus next week. And we at the moment are putting together a schedule, and there are going to be a couple of opportunities for families to come in and meet with Andy Watson to say, you know, I'm Margaret Cohen. I've got 2 students at the Gregory School, and here's what I'm looking for, you know, as a parent and the new head of school. He will also be meeting with our FA executive team at some point during the day. So he'll be on campus all day next Tuesday, April 16th. And again, we're getting a schedule out as soon as possible. This is all just kind of suddenly happening. Amy Seeger will also be on campus the following week. She and her husband are coming out to look at houses over the April 20th weekend. And so she and I have scheduled some time to do some transitional, you know, work together on Monday. What is that, April 22nd? And we're putting together what we'd like to think of as a welcoming reception for her at the end of the day, so that any faculty and staff or parents, families, students that would like to come meet her in person on that day. So again, you're just getting the scoop before everybody else, and we'll be getting this information out through some electronic messaging tomorrow. Any questions about interim head or the search process? Desi.
I just want to know if the committee has kind of like done a proper debrief of what went wrong, and lessons learned and new approaches and questions to ask, and how do you like engage together now as you move forward, so that we don't repeat the same mistakes. These things can be costly and time consuming. And I just want to know that I mean, I'm not there anymore, but I love the Gregory School, and I want the next head of school to be, you know, a smidgen of you. I want someone to be as amazing as you were. And I don't think that the last search was excellently managed. And I want to be sure that there's been some lessons learned.
They have been able to do that together, but they are actually going to be meeting with Andy on Monday, April 15th, to do that very exercise.
Okay.
And, you know, really and truly, part of it was the cost of these executive search firms is pretty extensive, right? Especially when you consider our budget, you know, and our context. And so in fairness to the board, and I'm to blame because I encouraged them, you know, we actually had somebody that volunteered, you know, to help us with that. And we tried it, and it really didn't work as well as we had hoped. And part of the problem, aside from, I mean, there is, of course, actual expertise with professionals that run, you know, search firms. We did not have the kind of network that a professional search firm that works in the independent school industry would have access to. And that's what I'm so excited about with Andy. Andy has, I mean, he's been on the national board of independent schools. He and Ty Tingley were actually, and Ty, I should back up, Ty now resides in Tucson, and both he and Andy have mentored me. Ty is a retired head of school, and his last appointment was the head of Exeter, which is no shabby appointment. And so Ty and Andy actually nominated me for membership in what is a prestigious national organization for heads of school. And so the 3 of us now have access to all of those contacts as well that we can optimize for the Gregory School search. So I'm really, really excited and optimistic. Not only is the school, I think, positioned really well for someone to come in, it's a very enticing, you know, leadership opportunity, but I think we have the right person now helping to navigate that search for us.
Excellent. That sounds great.
Okay. Any other questions about the search before I just give you some general other updates about what's happening at TGS? Okay. I always try to get out a message to families about retirements. We have not done that as soon as we normally do because some of our colleagues just requested that they have some time to have it not be public. But I have permission to share all of this tonight. So officially, I think many of you knew that Sandra Kraus, who's been leading our wellness program, is retiring, and Angela Earnhardt is going to assume the leadership for the wellness program moving forward into next year. In addition to Sandra, Mickey Celentano, who is just a wonderful, wonderful math teacher. I know she is a brand new grandma and has decided, I just want to spend more time with that bundle. And so Mickey is going to be retiring. The good news is we have been quietly seeking out another math teacher, and Allison Jacobs has really led that search, and we are delighted to say that we have offered. He has not signed his contract yet, so I'm not going to share his name or anything to jinx this, but he is an exceptional candidate out of Southern California who's been working in an independent school. He teaches all types of high-level math. His recommendations are some of the finest I have ever seen, and he is passionate as well about athletics. And so he wants to work with Angela and support our athletic program and hopefully coach in addition to teaching math. So we're just this close to sealing the deal with him. And by hiring him next year, we'll be doing some musical chairs to cover for Mickey. But the long-term plan is that we know Steve Krause is likely going to retire at the end of next school year. And so knowing that, we wanted to secure this person right now when he was a part of our radar. And he will be able to teach just about any math class in the upper school down the road. So we're very excited about that. We'll certainly let you know when it's official. And then, so Sarah, Mickey, and I will be the three retiring from the school. Also, Mr. Teagarden Jr., who was helped us out this year by joining us, moving here from Phoenix, is going to be moving back to Phoenix. So, his significant other is up north in Maricopa County, and just decided that for personal reasons, he wanted to head north. So we're going to be able to cover his math position internally between the new hire as well as some other colleagues on campus. So all in all, that is actually very minimal staff changes for next year. So I'm delighted about that. We have one additional change in assignment that I can't announce yet that's likely going to be part of the administrative team. And the reason I can't say anything about it is because I am really committed from this point forward to making any decisions like that in collaboration with Amy Seeger. It's only the fair and right thing to do because she's going to be in a leadership position and she's going to own, right, whatever changes that we make. So after April 22nd, when she and I have that day to work together, we'll be able to share some additional modest reorganization of some positions on the administrative team. So that's the staffing update. In addition to all of the events that Jody has already listed, there are some wonderful senior events. Tomorrow morning, as a matter of fact, our class of 24 are putting on a breakfast, as they call it, their appreciation breakfast for their teachers, in the dining hall. Earlier, it was mentioned that tomorrow is our special 8th grade adventure. I really wish that I could be in the downtown adventure. It sounds fabulous, but I will be accompanying them. I'm the one administrator that is going with the crew to the Diamondbacks game. So, who doesn't love being on a bus with 45 8th graders for the entire day and, going to the ball game. So I'm actually trying to soak up some of those experiences as much as I can in the next 6 weeks. And then, of course, prom is next Saturday evening. And I will be at prom with a number of other faculty members. And there was a question that came up. The location it's called the Whistle Stop, I believe, in downtown Tucson. And we've had a couple of inquiries from parents, just a little concerned that it's in an area where they question safety and security. And so, you're so good at even word of mouth, parent to parent. Mark Reynolds, our director of security, is going to be there. I will be there. And if we determine that we need to between now and the 20th, we've even hired off-duty police officers before, which, by the way, Jennifer DeBenedetti's husband works for Tucson Police Department. So we're in touch with him in terms of maybe some additional support that evening.
What is
So
wrong with the area? Sorry to interrupt, but I mean, downtown, what's wrong with downtown?
nothing is wrong with downtown. It's just interesting. We had a parent of one of our current upper school students reach out to us to say that he has a business that's adjacent to this event area, and that he has experienced some vandalism, some theft, in the area. And so he just said, I just want you to be cognizant of that, but that can also happen, I think, in just about any part of the city. But as always, when we're not in sometimes they're much more self-contained, like in a resort or a hotel area. And this is a place that's kind of a standalone. And so when we have that situation, we just make sure we have a lot of adults, more for the safety of the kids walking from the venue to their car. Just make sure everybody's okay. So, let me check my notes, because we had an admin team today and I said, is there anything else that you all would like me to talk to the FA about? Oh, they did ask, or just reminded everyone, that final exam week actually starts with a reading day on May 15th, where students basically have a time to catch their breath, do some studying, and go seek out any faculty members that they need prior to the final exams. And then final exams will run the 16th through the 21st. And it's kind of nice the way it breaks it up this year. So you have two back-to-back days, then you have a weekend in between, and then you come back on Monday and Tuesday and finish exams. And of course, anything that you can do to help us in terms of avoiding a family vacation. I know it happens, but if you can avoid a family vacation, taking your child away on May 17th instead of May 21st is certainly appreciated by our faculty. But we always work with everybody as best we can. And again, Angela told me to remind everybody about the athletic banquet. And I think that's it, Jody, unless there are questions from the group here.
I have a question.
Sure.
Dr. Shaw, could you talk a bit about your role going forward? You mentioned you're going to have the April 22nd day with Amy Seeger. Will you be working with her after that, or will that be the conclusion?
Well, that hasn't all been completely worked out yet, to tell you the truth, Jill. But so at this week's board meeting, what I did, and was actually kind of fun, I put together a presentation for the board that was a retrospective of all that we've accomplished together as a head of school and a board of trustees for the last 11 years. And, we went through that. It's important to me to build context, because we have some trustees that are in their first year, or only have been served on the board for a year or two. And I think it's important to understand and know the history of the school and where we were 10 years ago and how we got to this point today. Also because I'm very frugal and I don't want anyone coming in and thinking, oh, we've always had this success in enrollment. It was hard to get to this point. But in addition to that, I shared with the board, if I were to be head of school next year, here would be the major things on my to-do list. I mean, these are the natural, next things I think we need to be working on. And then I also shared with them, if you want to call them strategic worries, things that do keep me awake at night, some things that worry me that I think the board should be cognizant of. An example of that would be enrollment. It can be fickle, and we are heavily reliant on the number of students that we enroll every year. And so as a board, their job is to think strategically about the future for the school, and to also, be thinking fiduciary, in terms of fiduciary responsibility. And so, my worry is, we will. But one of the things we need to continue to work on are alternative revenue streams, so that we can build capacity, like to save for that rainy day. There's going to be a day or a year when suddenly we're 20 students lower than we anticipated. And we still, of course, want to give our amazing faculty a cost of living increase, because we want to retain them. And those are the kinds of, discussions and the planning that we charge board members with, how are we going to situate ourselves in the best possible way for that? So I shared some of those bullet points with them. So that was the plan for this week. At the last board meeting of the year, they will present a slate of officers. They will introduce any new nominees to the board. And they have asked me to actually present at that meeting a proposal as to how I might serve in a transitional role for 1 year. Not a significant role. I would not be on campus, but I would be the guide on the side, available, to assist with questions, and likely taking the lead to a certain extent. I mean, it's unreasonable to ask somebody who's coming in for 1 year, who's not been working on the last 5 years, for instance, of this front entrance that we've been trying to get built, and we're really close to finishing it. I mean, I know you haven't seen a bit of dirt moved yet, but we've done all the surveying. We're almost through with the city of Tucson permitting. I just cannot believe the details that have been. We were approved by the Old Fort Lowell Historical Review Board, which is a big deal. They really like, the front entrance, and so that is a significant loose end that I am happy, to help with, just to try to tie that up. So in May, I will be presenting to the board a proposal about how I could help modestly part-time, just to assist the interim head and hopefully bring a few of these unfinished projects to conclusion. Other questions?
Not a question, but just a comment. I mean, I just think that that's essential because I think there is a need for continuity. And I think you throw someone in who's here for a year, so their mindset is very short term. And you want someone who's had some history and who can also kind of create some of that long-termism sustainability for the school going forward. So I think it's essential.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr.
Oh,
Cheryl.
Is it okay if I want to
Okay.
just say something real quick? Just, yeah, I agree with that. I think it's great to have that kind of transition there. And I wanted to also mention just for folks that might not know, I searched the that location for the prom, and that's actually, if I'm looking at it correctly, it's in the Dunbar neighborhood, which is a real beautiful neighborhood. I encourage you folks that have never been there to drive through in the daytime. And there's one particular, I think it's like an avenue, but it's really beautiful. They do a lot of sustainability work there, and they're just really ahead of their time. So I would encourage us to reach out to the neighborhood leadership there as well, just to let them know what's going on. You'll find that they're really respected in that area of town. A lot of great people, and it's not necessarily right in the downtown. It's adjacent to, it's kind of like north of downtown, so it's pretty quiet actually. So if folks are thinking, oh my gosh, the hustle and bustle of the downtown area, it's not really actually that. It's actually in a very kind of quiet residential area actually. So just wanted just to mention that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for that perspective. Love it. Okay, and I wanted to say too, I always appreciate Dr. Cheryl, your updates. You just cover so many areas. It gives us such a good view of all the many facets of the Gregory School and your job. So I think it's really educational for us as parents because we, often see this piece and that piece, or think about that piece, but you just put it all together, and it's so important for us to all get that perspective together. So thank you for your updates
Thank
and
you,
for
Jody.
always coming to the evening meetings, your
Oh,
day.
my pleasure.
And we really
You are an extension of our staff. We've always said our family association, you're an extension. We couldn't do what we do without your support and your amazing volunteerism. So I'm grateful.
Thank you. And I thank everybody, like I said at the beginning, everyone who's continued to attend these meetings. I know the evenings are busy and hard to get here. So I really do appreciate people who take the time. And I would encourage anybody who wants to step out next year and be part of the FA, whether it's volunteering at an event or if you want to take on a little more. We will be talking about that a little bit more at the appreciation breakfast if you come next week. And we'd love to have you. Oh, Christina, I see your hand up. Do you want to say something before we close?
Yes, I do. I know this was touched on from the last meeting, but my oldest son was part of the Odyssey of the Mind and they went to state. And I do want to emphasize that, I know we're at the end of the year, but over the summer, if anyone wants to come up with a passion project, a parent passion project, Odyssey of the Mind was one of these. And I have to say that the great thing about TGS is that I am so grateful for the parent and the teacher who just was doing this with Odyssey of the Mind because I had no idea of how helpful it was going to be for my son. And so for anyone who thinks that, oh, maybe I have an idea and, maybe it's not significant, it is. So bring it up because you will have no idea what an impact you might make for someone else's child. And so over the summer, think of a passion project that you might, someone's been tapping you on the shoulder, bring it up. And maybe that's how you participate with the family association. So I just wanted to say that because I'm so thankful for that.
Thanks, Christina. That's great feedback. Yeah. We did put together the Parent Passion Project just as a way for the Family Association to be that middle person for parents, because you're so right. People often say they have an idea, but they don't know where to start. And on the same side, the administration side is got their schedules, teachers have their plans, and it's how do we marry the two if it works out and if it's in alignment with what the Gregory School has as far as their strategic goals and their curriculum and all that. It's just trying to marry the two. So that's exactly why we put it together. Carla, did you want to say something before we close?
Yes, just wanted to kind of mirror Christina's statement. My daughter also participated in Odyssey of the Mind, and it was incredible. We were so grateful for it. We were unfamiliar, and it was fun to meet parents who were like us, that were newbies, but also those who've been doing it for many, many years. So it was a great opportunity, not only for the kids, but for the parents as well. And then I also wanted to mention that Tanis, the 5th grade rep, has organized, I think there's only one other 5th grade parent here, Margaret, but she's organized a parent night out for this Saturday. So if you have friends who are 5th grade parents that don't know if they're coming, just let them know that we hope to see them. It'll be at Vero Moore on Saturday, I think at 6. So hopefully that'll be a fun night and some good turnout and opportunity for parents to get to know each other.
That's great. Yeah, wonderful. Okay, is there any last minute questions, concerns? I really thank you all. I'm going to end the meeting early, 6:45. Have a wonderful evening. Join us next week for the appreciation breakfast.
Jody.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Bye.